It wasn't you, it was me. No, we have a special guest today, which I've said 500 times already.
Wrong. You're listening to Time to Lean, and here's a song. With special guests not from Australia, but from New Zealand, Bex P. Also Phil and John. They're going to talk a bit, and then there's a song. And there's a beverage. Not in that order, and in addition.
Bex.
Hi.
A Bex P? I don't know. We use people's last initials.
Yes.
So, but
I
Bex
think it's
isn't
pretty
your real
obvious
name, is it?
what Matt's last name is right now.
Well, he's one of our...
He posts more than anyone else on the Facebook page.
One of the regulars.
Well, I definitely appreciate. Well, speaking of Matt P, what's it like being married to Matt P? Oh. No, I'm not. You can answer that if you want. I'm not going to ask you. I bring you on the show to ask a bunch of questions about Matt.
Early. This is interesting.
Speaking of big guns, he's got a lot of tattoos on those guns.
He does.
No, but let's pretend this never happened. Okay, now we're going to start.
That part out.
No, definitely. So you grew up on the set of Lord of the Rings.
Essentially, yeah.
No,
a little ways down south.
Bex is from New Zealand.
Yes, indeed.
Originally. What was that like growing up there? And when? In the 90s? You grew up in the 90s in New Zealand?
I'm a child of the 80s, born in 1980.
Oh, good.
So, 80s, 90s, growing up there. How was it? I don't know. I didn't really know any different. There was a lot of being at the beach and boating and being near the ocean, which I am about as far away as I can get right now, living here in the States. But yeah,
in the middle of. But that's why you get to the lake. There's plenty of lakes around.
There are, but they're not quite the same.
Not quite.
I think they're getting more saline over the years, so because people's water conditioners.
Yeah, not near a lake big enough for sailing here. I did a lot of sailing back in New Zealand.
Oh, saline, I meant.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sailing.
Oh, saline. Okay, sorry.
How do they say How do they say
the seasoning versus the Christopher Cross song?
It's too technical.
It's my accent this time.
Yeah.
I bet you love that.
I do.
Bex, you moved to the States. Mm-hmm. I want to say in 2011. Is that
correct?
Right? Yep.
Well, you could have just asked her.
I didn't want to act like I don't, remember anything.
Oh, right. Well, I don't know anything, so I could ask those questions.
Yeah.
I know very little. I know you're married to Matt P.
I
but
am. We've
already established that.
Yes.
A friend of the show and former guest. I mean, he might be on again. You never know.
I didn't mean to imply that you were born in the 90s. I was thinking more that your formative years might have been.
I think, Phil, what you're trying to think of is that Matt is an 80s person. I think he would agree with that, in that his nostalgic formative years are from the 80s.
True.
And most of what we talk about on here is about that.
Oh, yeah, of course, naturally. And I think, Bex, you're probably more nostalgic for the 90s.
Yeah, somewhat so. Mm-hmm.
Maybe the 1890s for all we know. I don't know what those were like.
Time warp.
We're way behind in New Zealand.
Well, I knew there was the international date line or whatever, but maybe it's decade line. I don't know.
I mean, I've always joked with Matt that a lot of the 80s music that he loves so much, I actually only made it to New Zealand in the 90s, to be honest. So, we, like I say, a little bit behind the times. Radio waves had to get down there.
So actually, you're aligned.
Yeah.
Okay, well that works out for a marriage usually.
Usually.
Oh, are you married?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I just.
Yes.
Well, yeah, you have. I shouldn't have assumed. I don't see. I'm going to ask all that. We can edit that out.
Well,
that was
that's
a dumb question. I assumed you were.
We were married by Elvis in Vegas.
That's right.
Wait a minute. Really?
Yeah, that's my legal marriage.
The real Elvis?
Well,
sure.
No, sure. Yeah.
It might have been. Who knows?
In his early
For all
years.
we know, yeah.
Well, there's a story there. What was that about? I've never been married by Elvis.
No? Oh, it was all to do with, it was not the easiest thing in the world to bring someone to the United States of America, if you weren't aware. So it's a bit of a long story, really, but Matt and I, when we got engaged and we were obviously going to be getting married, but decided that Sim and I hadn't actually really spent very much time in the States at all before I moved here for the rest of my life, that I would come over on a visitor's visa and add an extra 3 months on. So it'd be 6 months visiting to make sure that this was something we wanted to do. But so we went through the proper channels, as you do. Turns out not the best situation to do that. So I was denied entry. So then I was banned from coming to the States. They denied my visa because I didn't own a house in New Zealand. So my ties to New Zealand were not strong enough, according to the embassy.
Wow.
Yeah. So then
it's more complicated than I thought. I didn't think New Zealand was a deplorable country or something.
Well, no. I mean, I had a job to go back to and everything, but that's all right. So I guess the easiest way to come in is on a mail order bride visa, what they call a K1 visa. So that is what I actually ended up coming in on, and you have to be married within 90 days. I don't know if you've ever heard of the program 90 Day Fiancé that's on TV here.
Oh,
that was us. So you had to be married within 90 days of entering the country. So we decided we would go to Vegas, get married, and then we'd have our proper wedding in New Zealand a year later. So.
Oh, okay.
Long story short.
Wow. Well,
worked out nicely. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a little distracted by the storm outside. If the power cuts off, then that's just the way it is.
We had it here earlier. So, it was nasty.
Yeah. Do they have a K9 visa to bring a dog over from another country, or is that a no?
Highly possible.
It's probably harder to bring a dog over than a person, actually. No, it's almost that bad.
Yeah. On a completely side note, South Dakota. We talk about South Dakota sometimes, or too much, and South Dakota's governor was just today declared Juneteenth, some proclamation. One of the last 4 states to do that. So a little behind the times, but okay. Yeah. Good job, South Dakota. We have.
So you all tell me, when did you become familiar with the Juneteenth?
Me or
any
either of us? Like a week ago.
Well, I had heard of it, but I didn't know that. I'm learning more about it because I didn't realize that it's kind of celebrating. So 2 years. It took 2 years for the word, supposedly, or whatever, to get down to Texas. Some Union soldiers had to get down there after Lincoln made his speech. It took like 2 years for the Texas slaves to be to be freed. So I don't know. That's something I learned fairly recently, but I didn't learn about that in history or anything like that.
It's amazing how much stuff we did not learn about in history.
Yeah,
but maybe I don't know.
We certainly didn't learn. We did the American Midwest, but that was about it.
The Midwest, okay.
Yeah, cowboys and Indians.
Watch a couple westerns, you're good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I
Battle of Little Bighorn and things like that.
I have a friend from England that was similar. Paul's dad talked about an incredible nostalgia for the farther west, actually, the Wild West, as they would say.
Yes.
So, where I guess we can count growing, it wasn't that wild, but when we were there,
we were on the fringe.
I guess there was one night at like 3 a.m. that we laid in the middle of Mount Rushmore Road, but so it got pretty wild.
That was our Wild West, Phil.
It's pretty out there.
Next to the Perkins.
we were totally out of hand. Well, what were some things that you did growing up besides just sitting on the beach. Maybe that's what he did.
Did a lot
I
of
don't think
that.
there's anything wrong with that.
No, played a lot of sport. Sports is always big in New Zealand.
Like which kind? Like
I played
football? Do they say football there?
We have rugby. I didn't play rugby. My brothers played rugby.
When you say you had rugby, that's an understatement.
Oh yeah,
It's a huge sport there.
it's a religion.
Yeah.
So that's like the major sport, the biggest sport there?
Yeah, that's the biggest sport
We're
there.
going to ask you a bunch of New Zealand questions.
That's
so
okay.
I hope you're ready. You haven't been there for a while, so.
I know. It's been a little while. It's going to be a longer while before I get back there.
Oh, yeah, that's too bad. I know you like to get there.
I'm going to interrupt and get to our first ritual. What are we all drinking?
No.
Phil, what do you have?
Well, I had a we got a little bit later start today than we normally do, and this I'm not complaining. I'm just saying. So I before I got on here, I had one of those Finnegan Amber Ales, which I don't know if I've talked about on here before, but they donate I think all of their proceeds to charity. So I did my good for the day. I drank a beer that helped support something. I don't know. Hopefully it's a good cause. The Rugby Foundation. No, now I'm drinking a scotch and soda with some cuddy, but I can't get my soda stream refilled. I got first world problems here. Target has not had soda stream refills in 3 months, so I had to revert after John finally talked me into getting one of these gadgets.
We talked about that many episodes ago.
I know, but I had to revert to
ironically,
buying
I
a bottle.
never used mine.
I'm gonna steal your canister. Well, so now I had to go get a bottle of club soda. That's kind of weird.
Oh, like an animal.
I feel soiled somehow. I'm hurting the environment buying the plastic. Well, anyway, that was a long version of what I'm drinking, but
Okay, how about you, Bex?
I am drinking a gin and tonic. It's a 2nd Street gin that we picked up in Fernandina Beach in Florida a while ago from the Marlin and Barrel.
There's so many good local gins.
There are. It is quite a good one too, and got some fresh herbs in there from the garden to liven it up.
ooh, oh you
Went
spruced
fancy.
it up a little bit.
Yeah.
What
Take
kind
it up
of
a
herbs
notch.
did you put in?
I have a stick of rosemary, some thyme,
Yeah.
and some mojito mint.
Ooh,
Oh, that's great. Wow.
It's pretty
Okay,
tasty.
you win.
that sounds healthy.
A couple of slices of
We
lime.
should have had. Yeah. Wow. We should have had her go last, John.
So on our previous episode, I tried some peanut butter whiskey, which is actually the fault of your husband.
It is
Bex.
indeed. Yes.
You were there for it. In fact, you probably tried it. Mm-hmm. I made a PB&J cocktail with it.
Okay.
Nice.
I think
Which
we were
I'd heard
speculating
was a
about.
good thing. I'm sure I talked about it on episode 43, which is not out yet, but
Wrong.
will be someday. Yeah, it's basically Chambord liqueur, which is black raspberry liqueur.
Oh,
and,
that's the jam.
and the peanut butter whiskey on over some ice, and it's not bad actually.
Not too bad.
It sounds pretty sweet.
You know, the ice cube really helps it melt and dilute, which is otherwise sickly sweet.
I was going to say it's quite syrupy.
Yeah, and Chambord by itself is also really sweet. So I found a couple of miniature bottles to do it with because going through an entire bottle of Chambord isn't really going to happen for me for a long time.
No.
So I saw those and I, it's time.
You know
I
what
got to
would be
get through
good in
this
there?
peanut butter fucking whiskey somehow.
I think we'll save some for me, but I
Don't
think,
worry.
I think also you should maybe try it with toast. Put some toast in there. I think that'd be good. Or actually, what I would do is stick a nice slab of bacon in there. I think that'd be good. Get it a little
That could
smoky.
work too. We created one with some peanut butter whiskey last weekend at the cabin that Matt P has called the Korean mule.
No way. You guys bought a bottle of that too?
No, he bought some. He bought just a miniature one.
It was Sante, wasn't it?
Okay.
Was it?
Didn't he post that?
Oh no, maybe was it a
Sante mule
or a Bangkok mule, perhaps
something?
Because
Maybe
it's
he
they made it like a
several things
satay sauce, so it had the ginger, the peanut butter for the satay
see, that
type
sounds a lot
flavor.
better.
Oh,
Had some
that
lime in
sounds
there.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he posted about that, and I forgot to clarify what was in it, but now we know.
I
So-
didn't see that, of course. I'm sure I was too busy being shown Trump ads instead.
No, they've been blocked now on Facebook. It's fine.
Well, that's exciting.
Well, so back to before what we're drinking. I just I don't know much about New Zealand, so I mean I know it has.
You're not looking at the New Zealand Wikipedia page.
No, I'm not. God. I know it likes rugby and
Yes.
and they have a lot of sheep, but I don't
Yeah.
know. What did you do? What was your deal growing up in New Zealand? What a terrible way to ask that. Okay, cut that out, and I'm going to ask it this way. So back to our previous thing we were talking about. This isn't any better. What was it like growing up in New Zealand? So it was kind of in the 80s and 90s.
Compared to her growing up in the United States.
Yeah.
Well, how would we compare that?
She's heard plenty of stories from family and everybody.
Yeah, but I think she was forced to actually listen to a couple of these podcasts, which I apologize.
It's all right. It was entertaining on the way home from the cabin.
The podcast was never intended to be used as a torture device. But John and I have not made our spouses listen.
No.
But Matt, God bless him. Anyway, back to the question.
Back to the question. I guess I'll go off of the comparisons I have, which are the stories I've heard from Matt's family and John, yourself. Probably pretty similar to growing up in this area of the States. You know, I actually grew up on a small farm. So we were country kids. We had a few cows, and that kind of thing. Like I say, played plenty of sport, tennis, netball, which you probably won't have heard of.
Knitball, is that like...
Or is that netball?
Netball, N-E-T, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So, like basketball, but there's no backboard. You don't bounce the ball. You can't step with the ball. It's a lot faster game.
See, that sounds a lot harder.
It is a lot harder.
From the way you described it and the way my mind is working tonight, that doesn't even seem possible. But I'll look it. I'll look it up later.
Phil, it's just Quidditch. You know?
Yeah, pretty much. without the flying broomsticks.
I'm sorry, I did that offensive thing where we conflate England, Australia, New Zealand, all of it together.
It's all part of the Commonwealth.
It's the Queen.
It's fine. The Queen's our head of state. It's all right. I also did ballet for 13 years growing up.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I knew that either.
Yeah.
Or I forgot.
Probably couldn't tell
Ballet
from
for
now.
13 years.
Yeah.
That's a...
It's a commitment.
Yeah, well...
It was like 5 days a week of classes and things, so...
If you're going to do that kind of thing, you have to be all in, I guess. Ballet is not for... I mean, I have not ever done ballet. You can look at me and see that. It's obvious, but it appears that you're all... Okay, I'm just judging from the movie Black Swan. But anyway, it seems like you have to kind of be all in. You can't just say, I'm going to do a little ballet on the side.
No.
Do some netball.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I played...
I
don't know how I fit it all in. Yeah. I did 5 days a week of ballet and tennis in the weekends, netball in the weekends, plus sports practice during the week. Yeah, it was full on. Didn't have time to get into trouble.
Did you get the impression your parents were just trying to get rid of you, or
No, not at all, because they had to drive us everywhere, so...
Oh, that's true.
Mum
They got to see you on the route.
got the ballet run with me, and Dad would be taking my brothers to rugby and cricket practice and things, so...
I think they have rugby for women too, don't they?
They do now, yeah.
They didn't then?
No, not to the extent that they do now. It's professional now. But like doing PE at school, we did rugby.
Sure. I don't think rugby and ballet go hand in hand usually, but maybe.
No, not so much. I did actually have to get a note at one point to not play rugby when it was leading up to a ballet exam.
Oh.
So that got
They
me
want
out
to
of
make sure you
PE
didn't
for
get
a week.
injured or something?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because
Yeah, I would try to get out of PE for all kinds of reasons. Maybe I
Yeah.
should have taken ballet. No, that wouldn't have helped me in my situation.
I always, I think of New Zealand as being a much smaller place than it really is.
yeah, I mean the country
You know?
wise, it's a decent size, reasonable
Because
size.
the scale, when you look on maps, because it's so isolated in the ocean.
Yeah.
Maps
The
are
two
distorting.
If it makes it on a map too, that's a big thing that New Zealand very seldom makes it on a world map.
Just down there somewhere.
Yeah, falls off
Even
the edge.
after the Lord of the Rings?
Even
that
after
should be
Lord
on
of the
there.
Rings, yeah, there's. Should look up Reese Darby's YouTube on it. It's hilarious.
We'll put a link in.
Yeah.
How sad.
I know.
Well, what is the wildlife? I'm into nature shows and stuff like that, and I've seen a lot of nature shows about Australia. Australia.
Everything
But-
kills you.
But what is the wildlife in like in New Zealand?
Well,
I don't know much about that.
It's mostly bird life in New Zealand. We only have one native mammal. Sorry, not one native male.
Oh, it was Matt P.
We have a bat that is our native mammal to New Zealand. The rest are all birds, but we have introduced species, so
Yeah.
deer and
Pigs.
sheep and cows and all that. But nothing that can kill you. No bears or tigers or lions or anything exciting like that. But we do have a lot that can kill you in the sea, I guess. A lot of great white sharks and a
Yeah.
lot of different sharks and whales and
They can get around a little easier.
yeah, we have a lot of penguins.
Little known fact, Ernest Shackleton's Antarctic expedition in 1907 was thwarted not only by being trapped in ice for almost a year, but also by killer penguins. Penguins took the lives of 3 of his crew. Later, Shackleton and some of the crew set sail on a lifeboat and traveled to South Georgia, where they became congressmen and male prostitutes.
It's interesting how that country. Of course, I'm doing the same thing, where I think of Australia and New Zealand as being right next to each other, but
Yeah.
they're really long ways away.
It's a 3-hour flight. Yeah, I have been asked living here if there was a bridge between Sydney and Sydney and Auckland, and it's that's a 3-hour flight.
Yeah.
So how long of a bridge would that need to be? Because it could be done. China could do it.
Yeah, but the sea at that point is like kilometers deep, so I don't know how they're going to put the footings in.
No, a tunnel. No, a tube. They'll
Could do
figure.
a
China
tube.
will figure
yeah,
it out.
Someone will figure
Giant inner tubes.
Well, yeah, it could just be like a chain of like an inner tube ride, like a like a water park. No,
That sounds great.
it out. Does sound
Well,
fun.
I think the great whites will love it.
Yeah.
It's a sushi bar.
Do people from New Zealand like to be called Kiwis?
Yes.
Okay, that's
As in
But it's
they-
kiwis as in
As
the
in they
bird,
really
not
enjoy
the-
it?
Not the fruit.
yeah, and I think people forget that they just know about
Yeah.
the fruit.
Yeah.
Well, you're a fruit, huh?
No, it's the kiwi's our national bird. And the fruit is called kiwi fruit because it looks like a kiwi.
So they
Yeah.
they don't just not mind it, but they really like it. So it's like a okay, all right.
Yeah,
It's not like oh,
insulting
God.
in any way.
They've embraced it.
Yeah.
I just this thunder. I never
Oh,
mind.
are you getting a lot out there?
Well, so on our last episode, we had wind and helicopters where I live, but I don't know if every now and then I get a little power flicker. It's very exciting. So you have where else have you lived? Oh no, you visited a lot of places. Have you lived in other places? I'm going all over the place today.
No, well, I've lived in several places within New Zealand, and obviously here in the States as well. But I've visited a lot of places around the world, I guess.
It seems like every time I open up Matt's, I guess I'm friends with you on Facebook now too, but every time I open up Matt's, go to Matt's page, you'd be in Not now, because you can't go anywhere, but
exactly.
it may be Iowa, but
I
but
think one of the things that contributes is that Bex travels a lot for her job.
Yes.
Oh, that was part of it too.
A lot for
Yes. I did travel a lot for my job, not so much anymore. But it's also a thing being from New Zealand, because we're so far down the corner of the world. To go anywhere different, you got to travel. So Kiwis aren't afraid to travel. So, been over to England, Europe, done a sailing trip up in the Pacific Islands, which was awesome. Been to Australia, States.
You've been to Australia?
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. But maybe you wouldn't, because I know that people that live in a certain place, they don't go to the other place nearby or whatever.
No.
I don't.
It's like we wouldn't want to go to Wyoming or something.
Been to Wyoming.
No, I did. I like Yellowstone.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that caldera or whatever it is I think that's probably next, or locust. I'm not sure, but
well, aren't there
that's
definitely
probably
locusts hatching after 15 years in the ground in North Carolina this summer apparently? So yeah, plague of locust is coming.
Oh,
well, see, because I don't know the biblical prophecies, but I thought the plague came after pestilence.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure, and I don't even know the terms. But
locusts and murder hornets.
Murder hornets.
Super volcanoes.
Yeah.
2020's got it all.
Maybe it'll wait till 2021. I think it'll probably wait until things calm down with COVID. We have a nice vaccine announcement,
mm-hmm.
and then Yellowstone will explode. I think I don't know. I'm not a
right
I'm not,
on the same day.
I'm not Nosferatu or something here.
Nosferatu? No, okay. You're thinking of Nostradamus.
Yeah.
Nosferatu is a vampire.
Hopefully he's not that either, though.
No,
well, maybe Nosferatu did predict the future. I don't know.
Ooh, I like that.
We might have a song brewing there.
Nosferatu Damas. Rock me.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Wait. What
we
was
did an '80s thing last time. We can't.
No, I'm sorry. I don't. But this will be the second one. No, what was? So it wasn't Nostradamus. Rock me, Nostradamus. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Okay. Make a note of that.
Yeah.
I am, but it's terrible. No, it might be.
Oh, so
it won't be our worst song.
The other day, I rewatched the movie The Andromeda Strain, which
Okay.
we talked about with Eric, I think, as a possible pandemic film festival selection.
Mm-hmm.
Did you talk about, just going back real quick, did you talk about Bex's, while I was gone, Bex's line of profession?
No, we haven't.
No?
No.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit? Because, and then we'll talk about the pandemic thing, because I think...
yeah, of course.
Sure.
Yeah?
Sure.
Fine. We're freewheeling.
But no.
Yeah. Black Ops. No.
Maybe you can't talk about it.
Oh no, I can talk about it. It's fine. I'm a quality executive for GSK pharmaceutical company, based out.
Quality executive.
Yes, my boss is based in England, and I work on a global team that we are in charge of basically writing the quality manual for the company.
Which needs constant updating.
Yeah, because the regs keep changing.
Oh, the regs.
The regulators.
Those darn regs.
I
But,
know.
as we say, job security, right?
Exactly.
Sure. All right. So you're kind of like a drug dealer. No, I'm kidding. No.
Drug peddler, yeah.
Well,
So that
GSK
doesn't have
does
any
a lot of
connection.
things.
I thought you were more into the other side of things. I don't want to say vaccines and stuff. That's more Matt, right?
No, Matt is in animal vaccines. I used to work in animal vaccines. That's actually how Matt and I met when I was working in New Zealand. But GSK also does vaccines and pharmaceutical drugs and consumer as well.
So there's a slight tie-in to what John was bringing up. But, okay, anyway, John...
Not really.
Go back. Andromeda Strain.
I only brought that up because we talked about it 4 episodes ago or something like that.
I lose track.
If you're not familiar with it, it's a movie about a contagion that's brought back from outer space. That this team of scientists has to isolate and all that stuff, and it's 1971,
AKA China.
so it's pretty old. But that movie, I would never recommend to anybody as far as being a great movie, but it definitely I find it fun because it's just the whole thing is a bunch of actors playing super great scientists trying to figure shit out. It's basically a procedural where they go into this very futuristic looking science lab buried under the ground in this government location and all that stuff, and it's
similar
really,
to where Bex works.
really fun.
Yeah, the movies always make it look much more glamorous.
Well, one of the things that occurred to me was that they have they have this super sealed, isolated, because it was made basically for germ warfare, right? Biological weapons. And so they make a big deal about how when they go into the complex, each level is more sterile than the previous one.
Yep.
And
so are the
there's
people.
a lot of, truth mixed with sci-fi kind of to make it all sound very credible. I think they worked really hard to do that. But one of the levels, every single room in there is like fire engine red. I just can't imagine that was a good idea to have people working 24 hours a day in that environment.
Can't imagine.
Well, first off, you shouldn't
like
have
that.
to work
It sounds
24 hours
really
a day.
serious though, because they've got this, these outer space bugs. They're trying to isolate them and blah blah blah. And everything's very serious because the walls are painted red.
Danger.
Yeah, it's funny, but I enjoy it. It's most of the tech looks incredibly ancient, of course, but some of it is somewhat forward thinking.
Yeah.
They have these ancient computer screens that they work on, but of course the computers do all this very advanced analysis instantly.
Oh, did they
Stuff they
shoot out a
probably
little
can't do
card,
today,
though,
even.
John? Did they shoot out a little card, though,
Like a little
with dots
punch
on
card?
it?
No, they didn't. At least they didn't do that, but they do communicate with teletype machines, which is great.
Did it talk? Did the computers talk?
They don't talk, but they have lots of little recorded voices, so it's almost Siri-like. So that part's interesting. And then one of the times that one of the scientists has to interact with the computer by touching a pen to the screen.
Ooh, it was the
and
first
selecting
touchscreen.
things. Ooh. So it was almost a touchscreen kind of a thing, even though it was an old phosphor green monitor mainframe style thing.
Yeah.
And the
So
pen.
I enjoy the fact that they at least tried to do that, and all the suspense is basically based on, are they going to figure it all out in time? And they all the actors have to sit there and rattle off lots of mumbo jumbo and stuff.
I think that would be
as a sci-fi nerd, I really like it.
Yeah.
But can you imagine today a movie being made, or just at all in COVID? But I'm just saying, with the premise is a bunch of scientists have to do something. We seem kind of anti-science right now. Not all of us, but it seems like a weird idea for a movie.
Well, it would have to be really a lot more action and sexy and stuff, I think.
Yeah, and that's that's the first things I think about when I think about scientists.
Yeah.
Maybe they're a naughty scientist, I don't know, but we don't need to get into that. It's like the naughty librarian motif. Oh
no.
I don't
Get out that
think
lab
I've
coat.
seen not That's all they're wearing.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I don't remember seeing naughty scientist costumes when I was shopping for naughty costumes, but I just mean never mind. Fine.
We'll revisit that in Halloween.
What did you guys have Halloween?
Oh God.
Not really.
Did you have?
No,
did
we
you have
did.
running water?
We knew what Halloween was.
Oh no, it wasn't such a dumb question. Then I guess.
No, it's not. It's a lot more popular now than it was when we were growing up. Like, we never went trick or treating, but we'd have, like, you know, my friend had a party around that time. We all went as witches. You know, we did some things like that, but we didn't do trick or treating.
I think in England they had some kind of thing like, what was it called? Costume. It wasn't called costume night. What was it?
Guy Fawkes, where they let off fireworks. That's an English holiday. We use that. We had that in New Zealand. You'd have a big bonfire and let off all your fireworks.
Oh, right.
I think they just had parties where they dressed up. This had nothing to do with Halloween. Never mind. It might have been a swinger thing. So what? Key parties. It was a key party. No, I got on this tangent from the naughty scientist. I apologize. I knew a naughty scientist once. All the experiments they did. No. But, so fine.
Well, Bex, do you have any questions for us after listening to our show?
Once?
Once.
Or, like, why?
The vast catalog.
My daughter said we should have my oldest daughter said we should probably do a alternate reality podcast where we have somebody interview us.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's
we
not
don't
what
talk
we're going to do.
about
Right?
ourselves
No.
enough.
I didn't get into that.
That's
I was
a
like,
clear failure.
I don't think we need to have somebody interview us. Well, anyway, go on.
No, I mean, I don't have any specific questions.
Okay.
I don't think. No.
I've got questions. Why haven't I been paid in a month? Why isn't there any air conditioning in this studio? Also, there isn't even a little refrigerator for me to put a beverage in or something. This is a very rinky-dink cheap operation.
It's about what I was expecting it to be. If that helps.
Oh, that's good.
I think it's
entertaining. I found it entertaining.
As long as you have very low expectations, I think it's fine. So another thing I see a lot of, or did, was a lot of concerts. But I guess that was Matt's fault. He would drag you to different 80s
yes, I've seen a lot of
one-hit wonders.
Very interesting, should I say, concerts. Yes.
And ones that are multiple hits.
Yeah.
Oh, not just the one-hit wonder. That was,
No.
Well, what kind of music did you what were your favorite bands and stuff growing up in New Zealand?
So, again, probably more on the 90s kick there. So, like Nirvana and Pearl Jam. Bit of a rock girl growing up.
All right.
Killers is my favorite band now.
Killers?
The Killers, yep.
The Killers.
The
yes.
Killers. Mm-hmm.
The Killers.
There's probably another band called Killers.
Yeah, probably.
Could be. Well, there was that Michael Jackson song, Killers. No, that was...
Thriller?
No, never mind. That was about Phyllis Diller. No. So... Phyllis Diller was a killer.
But then, I don't know, I had a fairly eclectic music. My dad liked Queen and Mum liked the Beatles and a bit of country. There's a lot
So you
mixed
picked
in
up
down
some
there.
of that.
Oh, yeah.
When you say country, well, what kind of music was local, I guess, that you would associate with...
I always think of Crowded House.
Crowded House, yeah, is probably the best known New Zealand export. Bands did not make it too far out of New Zealand, so obviously a lot of my favourite music growing up was like bands like The Feelers, Exponents, Dave Dobbin as an artist as well, Vikrunga, but none of them have really made it out of New Zealand. So
there's a bunch of things I need to get the Googler out for.
Yeah,
because I like to always hear new things.
Sure.
Well, you can be cooler than everybody else because you've never heard of them.
Yeah, exactly.
So where did you get that gin from again?
It was at Fernandina Beach.
Which state
in
though?
Florida, so it's out.
No, you didn't do it that time. I'm sorry, I was teasing. I the last time you said Florida, it had a little bit of an R on there.
Oh, Florida.
But you can't do it now.
No, God.
Florida.
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 I don't know.
Florida, did I say?
Another thing I'm sure it gets
Sorry.
very irritating is
Is me.
well, as always, is the mashing up of New Zealand and Australian accents.
Yeah, it's
They definitely sound different, but
They
if I
do.
had to reproduce one of them, I'm sure I would screw it up.
Australian accent's much more nasal. It's really not that different. We think it's very different, but most people don't.
There
So
is a difference, though. Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
So it's kind of the same, but you sort of plug your nose a little bit, like
Yeah.
"Good night, mate." No, you don't. Yeah, no.
Yeah. I mean, I get,
Or just memorize a bunch of Paul Hogan speech.
exactly. I don't know how many times since I've moved here people have asked me to say, "That's not a knife.
Oh.
This is a knife." So
Shrimp on the bobby.
throw another shrimp on the barbie. Yeah.
So bad.
Really? Oh, yeah. Americans love people to perform for us. Hey, do that thing. No, I used to get that, but I wasn't even from another country.
Well, that's why the movie Fargo was such a turnaround for Midwestern people, because it threw the Minnesota accent back in our faces
Yeah.
so much.
It was really funny when I went to Nolans shortly after that. Oh, I love accents. But anyway, so one of the taxi drivers was asking us about that movie because we said we were from Minnesota. And supposedly I have a Minnesota accent now. Somebody from that I used to know. I guess I still
Somebody
know.
that I used to know.
From South Dakota. Is that a Crowded House song? No.
No. Much
She's watching
much newer.
me. No, I'm kidding. I know. But they said, that, "Oh, you have a Minnesota accent now." After they listened to the podcast, so I thought, maybe I do. Maybe
Not strong.
I got to
It's a
fit in.
West St. Paul accent.
I wouldn't say it's a strong Minnesota accent. They're stronger in town here.
The rural accent.
Yeah.
Yeah, but up north, where, because Fargo was actually more about northern Minnesota. Fargo's in North Dakota, but whatever. But Bemidji or something like that. I guess I don't know. They do.
We'll have to
They
find
do
out.
have a.
We're heading
they
up to
do
the
have a little
Northwoods
bit.
soon.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. What are you going
In
to do there?
September. We're going to go hang out at a cabin on a lake
Ah,
up near
Nice.
the Canadian border.
That sounds much better than whatever I'm going to be doing.
You're welcome to
No.
join us.
Well, if I'm not back in my job, maybe I will.
Yeah. Just
I'm
going for the
guessing
long
in
weekend.
September we'll be pretty busy, but
Oh, you don't get Labor Day though, do you, John?
We don't. Although I'll get it this year because I don't go back till the 7th.
Ah, there you go.
You'll get it this year, all right. I found a little fan in a janitor's closet, a very underused janitor's closet. I had some of those chemicals in there from the 60s.
I think we get that off. The University of Minnesota does not give us Columbus Day off though, so I don't know. Why was that still a thing? I'm not going to get into the statutes.
Well,
Whatever.
amazingly is the schools that are now giving Juneteenth off.
We're
Good.
supposed to spend as much of the day as we would like to reflecting on Juneteenth.
I got a similar email. I don't think it said as much of the day, but I think maybe I'm supposed to take my lunch hour. But yeah, I think
Sure.
No,
I just said, think about it during your breaks.
Yeah.
while I'm eating my Aunt Jemima pancakes and my Uncle Ben rice and all these
Yeah, how
all
long
these things.
does Uncle Ben's have left, I wonder?
Well, Aunt Jemima's
I-
gone, right? So
Right.
Somebody said they should replace it with Aunt Karen. That was,
Okay, that's good. Karen.
oh dear.
they could change it every now and then when there's a new meme. But even as a kid, as a young lad in South Dakota, I was like, how is Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben and Land O'Lakes? How are these even things? But people never even thought about it. But all of this stuff, everyone's really thinking about. And of course, there's a backlash to that. But I tend to ignore those comments on Facebook. But what's
and
next?
what is it about breakfast food that seemed to invite this? So we had Aunt Jemima, and then in the old days, Mrs. Butterworth's, the little animated. It was definitely a black woman voice.
It was the same idea
on the bottle.
It was like an Aunt Jemima knockoff.
It was basically the same thing, except they thought to make the bottle look like Aunt Jemima.
Well, John, do you remember?
But it's breakfast cereal, our food is.
Yeah.
Just...
Do you remember? I remember going to get breakfast at Lil Sambo's.
Oh,
in Rapid City.
I should have instantly thought it. Yeah, Sambo's restaurant, Rapid City.
Yeah.
There used to be a childhood story that I grew up listening to.
Yeah, I remember it too. And in fact, in the restaurant, they had the
whole story.
The walls had these murals on.
Yeah, where the tigers turned into butter. Is that the one?
Yep.
They go around.
Boy,
the tree
that
so
was
fast.
a thing for a while.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
But Little Sam or Lil Lil apostrophe Sambo's or whatever it was. It used to be called Little Black Sambo's for a while. Oh my God, I don't remember that.
I don't know if it was. I think maybe that was based on the story.
Oh, sure.
Be the association.
I think the restaurant was just called Sambo's.
Well, even in Rapid City, that Sambo's went under or was closed for other reasons other than its name. But I heard that the last Sambo's just closed fairly recently in California, I think. Yeah. I don't know. Do you have anything like that in New Zealand? I mean, I know Australia has their thing with
the Aborigines.
Right.
Oh, the
I don't
Maori,
mean saying thing. I didn't mean to use the word thing, but there similarities.
Yeah,
I guess you'd say.
Yeah, there definitely is with the Maori people in New Zealand. Obviously, the British came in and colonized and tried to change everyone's ways to their way of doing things. So yeah, there's been a lot of that similar kind of thing as well.
Which was which peoples?
The British. Oh, the natives are the Maori people.
Maori.
Maori. Maori.
See, I'm learning a lot today.
Yeah.
I like to learn at least one thing every day.
I believe they're fairly well related to Pacific Islanders, right?
Correct. They originally the original settlers, they believe, came from what they called Hawaii in the day, so Hawaii area, by canoe down that way. Yeah. So yeah,
that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched believe it or not, John, I watched a documentary or two about the migrations, but it's amazing.
Yeah,
they'd load up these not very large ships with everything they might need to get on a new island, and
they were basically canoes.
It's not like sailing in Lake Diamond Shark.
Diamond Shark Lake.
No. So in Iowa, they say, I know you're not from Iowa.
No.
So some places say the name and then lake, and some places say lake and then the name.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it varies.
It varies. So we're Diamond Head Lake.
Diamond Head Lake.
Yeah. It's a man-made lake that was named after a corporation that founded it, I guess. But up the road about 30 minutes is Lake Panorama, so...
Oh, I guess I
think it just varies.
It's the whim of whoever names it.
Yeah.
They just want to make you feel bad if you don't live next to Panorama.
Yes.
Lake Panorama.
Lake
Panorama Lake is harder to say, I guess.
Yeah.
No?
I don't know. Maybe.
Do they have lakes in New Zealand?
They do have lakes in New Zealand, yes.
No, I figured. I'm sorry. That was...
We have everything.
Yeah, New Zealand, that's one of the reasons they filmed Lord of the Rings movies there was it had so much types of terrain.
We do. We have...
Oh, man, yeah.
Be skiing in the morning and at the beach in the afternoon.
Or you could just be dressed up in a wizard costume and wandering around.
That too.
They never went to the beach, though, in Lord of the Rings.
I don't think Tolkien really talked about tropical things.
No.
But Peter Jackson didn't always reference the books. He would diverge, because I don't remember, in reading Lord of the Rings books, the guy skateboarding down the elephant's trunk or whatever. Not elephant, but I don't know. He took a few liberties.
Oh,
he
Legolas?
Sure. He could have been at the beach. Legolas could have been surfing.
So you're saying he got he honed his skills on the beach.
Sure. He's like, he caught a good wave.
And then he went, dude.
He was kind of a dude. I think of all the
elven dudes.
Out of all the elves, I think Legolas was probably the most dude-like.
Probably.
No?
Oh, he was
he's up there.
Superhero.
He's up there. We actually went to Hobbiton last time we were in New Zealand.
I know. We were supposed to go too. Damn it.
Mum and Dad enjoyed it. Don't worry. It was kind of fun.
We'll get there.
Who has hairier feet, Phil or John? If you know the correct answer, you could win a case of Sleepy Time lemonade delivered to your door by yours truly, the narrator, Ed.
It's probably a little better than going to, Flintstones Village in Custer, South Dakota.
Yes.
Is that still there?
Probably.
Oh,
I feel like it
is.
was last time we went through there a few years
you
ago.
You've been through the Black Hills?
Mm-hmm. I love the
Well,
Black Hills.
there's a lot of really cool things there, but I don't know if Flintstones Village was one of them.
I think the Flintstones thing was lame even when
it was
we were
popular.
kids.
I remember
I don't
wondering.
understand. It gets me to this thing I always wonder about. So the Flintstones, the show, is from what, the 60s, right?
Well, it was just a
70s.
rip-off
I want
of.
to say that, yeah.
Yeah,
It's just a rip-off of the other show that Carney and.
The Honeymooners. Yeah, of
Honey,
course.
sorry, yeah.
But it's just seems so strange to me that they still have kid-oriented vitamins and breakfast cereal and gummies and all that stuff that feature those characters.
Yeah, that kids
have no connection with.
Right.
They don't even have memes about the Flintstones. I don't know how they would know what the Flintstones is.
I mean, kids much older than us probably never saw it.
No, it's not. I don't know what they would reference it.
I guess
So
they probably just think it's a
Flintstones-
marketing tool.
Yeah,
It's just a
Flintstones-
character
Goofy
on the
cartoon
gummies
character
bottle.
thing, but-
Yeah.
Or they
Weird.
paid so much to license it, they're just gonna use it as long as they can. damn it.
Yeah.
There are still some Jellystone campgrounds. I don't know if they call them that. It's more.
There's one outside of Sioux Falls.
Yep.
Sure. Yeah. So that
It's
was
right
a
off
chain of.
Interstate 90 near the fireworks stand.
Which one?
I'll be driving by it in a couple of days.
Oh, yeah.
We're heading west.
Oh, very good.
Out west.
Yep.
The Wild West.
That's the Wild West
Go
of
visit the
Rapid.
family.
Be
It's
nice.
very wild at the Knowles Ranch. The K Ranch. The Silent K Ranch,
Bruce
I call
calls
it.
the Knowleseum.
I don't know. I like the
He's a
Silent
little
K
hung
Ranch.
up on that. But
Oh.
Is he still going on about that?
oh, yeah, definitely.
I think it should just when you're out there next, just put it out in the crawl space, put a sign. Fine.
In the crawl space where no one will see it.
Well, you could put a sign out front to your mom's house, but she doesn't want all that
I
attention.
don't think she wants that.
No. Come see the Knowleseum. 25 cents. Free ice water.
Free ice water, yeah. See if you get
Gotta have that.
or a coffee
draw the
for 5
crowds in.
cents.
And a free Flintstone chewable gummy vitamin with every purchase of tickets.
Maybe it's a different
Yeah.
kind of a gummy.
And a billboard
Oh.
starting here in Worthington, going all the way there.
Oh, that's terrible. Yeah, I can't wait for my trip.
I took a few days off and I didn't go anywhere, and it was kind of boring. There wasn't anything. I mean, I putted around the house. I used to say putzed around the house, but that's different. I puttered around. I get my sayings mixed up. Sometimes I putz around the house too. But yeah, it's like I had I had some vacation built up because I haven't been taking vacation, and because there's nowhere to go.
Right.
But I thought, I'll take a few days off and I guess it was good.
You got some yard work done, I'm guessing.
That's one of our newer topics. Is our newer reoccurring topics. So
hey,
do you
I
like
don't have to mow or water my lawn tonight.
Well, but you have a garden evidently. You have some herbs at least.
Yeah.
Right?
Bex does.
Bex?
Yes. I do.
No, that's what I'm going to. Sorry.
Yes, we do. We have recently planted some actual plants in the ground that are still surviving just. Not a very good gardener. You don't have a green thumb, as they say. No, I don't.
Here, at least. I don't know.
No. Although they're doing better this year than in past years, because normally we're away every weekend, so they get
right.
This year, at least, they're getting some water. Have to be pretty hardy to live in our garden.
And you have to, and you can talk to them more often now too. It's good to talk to your
Been talking to
plants.
my rose because that nearly died as soon as we planted it, so it's coming away.
Oh. I'm not a huge. As I've mentioned on other episodes, I watch Monty Dawn, which is English gardening, is different, but I don't know. It's relaxing, but I'm not a big rose guy. But there were a couple rose bushes that we inherited when we bought the house from Irvin Lorraine, and I don't really know what to do with them. I don't know if I should just let them go crazy, or if I should keep trimming them back. I guess I could do some research, but I'm just not. And I haven't ripped them up or anything yet because I'm not going to do that. But
I feel like they enjoyed being trimmed back. Our neighbor, when I was growing up, had her whole backyard was roses. She had show quality roses. Used to win gardening competitions and things.
Yeah.
And she'd cut hers back every year at the end of the season.
Well, okay, I have been. So maybe I'm accidentally doing something right with those.
Well, I mean, yours have been there a long time, though, Phil.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when I feel a little bad because when we first bought the house, the first few years looking out at the backyard from the window, or even sitting in the backyard outside, it was kind of like a fireworks display in time lapse or reverse time lapse or whatever I'm trying to say. But there was always something blooming, and if I would have done a time lapse, that's what I'm trying to say. If I would have done a time lapse video of a whole summer, it would have been like a fireworks display. And over the years, some things take over and some things don't. If I would have known what I was doing, I could have maintained it better. But then I plant a couple other things that I like, and it seems mostly I do a lot of weeding, but whatever. It's still good to be digging in the dirt, as Peter Gabriel would say.
Exactly.
80s. Have you ever seen Peter Gabriel though?
I haven't seen Peter Gabriel. No.
Oh, see, John and I have. See, we got one on you on that one.
One up on me.
I'm going to rub that into Matt P the next time I
You probably
talk to him.
should.
Tours once every 20 years or something.
Yeah. Gotta
hey,
catch
Matt,
it.
John and I saw Phil Collins.
Oh, my God.
What's wrong with me? That's like... Have you seen Phil Collins?
Haven't. We were supposed to see Phil Collins, but then we weren't
That's right.
able to make it.
He was here recently.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He was on his tour called
I'm Still
I'm
Alive.
Not Dead Yet tour.
Yes. Yes.
I think it was his son on drums helping out, or was that? I think.
I don't know.
Whatever. It seems like there's always some drummer's kid helping. I know Ringo Starr's kid helped the Who out, I think, at one point. But
The narrator will tell us.
Yes.
I don't know anything about drummers except for Levon Helms, and right now I'm drinking some more Sleepy Time lemonade, and I'm feeling okay.
Wrong.
Crazy. Well, I think I'm ready to wrap it up. How about you guys?
Sure.
Speaking of rap, how big is rap and hip hop over there? No.
Oh, there you go.
Quite big.
Well, hip hop's
popular.
international now. Yeah. Even in the Kiwi land.
Even in Kiwi land. Yep.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show, and
Yeah,
Say hi to
it's
Matt
fun.
P for us.
We will. Thanks for having me.
Sure. Well, and we'll say good day. No, I'm kidding.
Oh no.
But
That's not us either.
good night. No.
No,
I do
what's the I can never say it. The starts with a K.
Knowles.
Oh, kia ora? That's hello.
Kiara? Yeah.
Kia ora.
Okay.
Haere ra is goodbye
Okay.
in Māori.
I do
In my
have a
limited
Paul Hogan
knowledge
story.
of the native language, yes.
Okay, I'll just end with the Paul Hogan story. But not really. So
That's
we were
not
doing.
I'll go take a trip in my Subaru Outback, which Paul Hogan used to do TV ads for.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
No, so we did this thing. We did this thing. It was called not cobbler capers. Oh my God, I'm going all over the place here. In college, we did this review, in which I don't know what it was called now. All of a sudden, but
Wasn't it also called Capers?
I think it was, but
Named
yeah.
after
So that's my
those
confusion.
little things in the jar.
No, not kippers. No. So
Not the
but-
fish.
So I don't remember. So we'd write our own show, and it was a fundraiser for something, but and perform it, and that sort of thing. But we had a guy. I think the only thing he did was a Paul Hogan kind of impersonation, and his prop was this huge knife. So we were at a party afterwards, a theater party kind of thing. And he was, I don't know if somebody was taking our picture or something, but he was just like, I didn't know the guy very well. He wasn't in theater. He was like, he got in, I don't know, in Capers, lots of other people got in because it was a big show. But you didn't have to have a degree or something. Or have a degree, be getting a degree. But anyway, so we're at this party, and he's standing next to me and goes, what would you say if I cut your dick off? And I was like, I don't even know what I said. Why am I going into this story?
What would you say?
This is terrible. What would you say? I was like, well, that would suck. No, I don't know what I said. Anyway, we'll edit that out too, because I don't even know where I was going with the story.
The young man, still in character, turned to Phil and said, I bet you'd just shit if I cut your dick off right now. Although with an Australian accent, and not Michael Caine. And Phil said, yeah.
God, am I getting to that age where I start a story and I don't remember the ending?
Is it because it's later than
to
usual?
ask.
I'm sorry.
It's because it's late. It's the international.
It's bedtime, Grandpa.
Town
Come
Dashel
on.
Dateline.
Yep.
We're in a different time zone here.
That's it.
Anyway, fine. Okay, boy, let's end it on that one. I'm going to write a song about that. What would you think? No, it's called What Would You Think? No, it's a ballad. Okay. Oh, God.
That's a Dave Matthews song. Damn it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
No worries.
It's been fun.
Has.
Bye.
All right, good night.
It'll
See
sound
ya.
better after the edit.
Wrong. Nostradamus. Nostradamus, Nostradamus. Nostradamus, Nostradamus. He was a French astrologer, and he saw into the future. Catherine de Medici loved to hear his prophecy. Nostradamus, Nostradamus. Nostradamus, Nostradamus. Rock me, Nostradamus. Rock me, Nostradamus. He wrote a book of 1,000 quatrains, and he used Virgil and Aeneas syntax to thwart religious constraints. Nostradamus, Nostradamus. Nostradamus, Nostradamus. Rock me, Nostradamus. Rock me, Nostradamus. In 1550, Nostradamus predicted that Abraham Lincoln would be entered into the Wrestling Hall of Fame. In 1551, he predicted that Phyllis Diller would star in 3 movies with Bob Hope. In 1552, he predicted the inventions of the tire gauge, seedless watermelon, and Betamax. In 1566, Nostradamus predicted his own death.
This thunder.